Alright guys, so I haven't made a video about the US elections in a while, so with the big news today I thought I would. Obviously, I guess if you haven't heard it, it's that within the last 24 hours or so, Ted Cruz and John Kasich have both dropped out of the presidential bid, I guess. What that means then is obviously Trump's going to be the Republican nominee. And technically it's been that way for a while, but the GOP kept threatening to basically take it from him even though he has the most votes. And I guess up to this point it was kind of up in the air whether or not he would get to 1237. Now, obviously he will. Yeah, and plus he's the only candidate left anyways. Barring the GOP basically saying we're going to put someone in place of you, someone who hasn't even ran, would have to be, I don't know who it would be, but some idiot. Trump's going to be the nominee, and barring Bernie Sanders pulling some major upsets here down the wire, Clinton's going to be the Democratic nominee. So it's going to be a Clinton versus Trump. And I guess I already know where a lot of people stand. The anti-Trump people are pretty stupid. Honestly, I've said it before and I'll say it again. I'm not 100% trusting of Trump. Personally, I'm about 60-70% chance I think he'll be good. But considering the fact that the last two presidents have both done horrible jobs, especially Obama, I'll take a 60 to 70% chance. And to those people saying, "Oh, Trump's, he'll be the worst president ever," every attack on Trump is taken out of context or just a total outright lie. I'm not even going to go over them, but I'm sure you're probably, if you disagree with me, you would have already said a lot of them. He's not racist, he's not anti-woman, he's not a, maybe he's somewhat of a small egomaniac, but in reality, the only reason why people are calling him an egomaniac is because they're jealous. And one big quality of an egomaniac is people who constantly comparing or talking about other people's egos. Just to remind those people who can't stop bringing that up. And personally, I wouldn't want a president who isn't a bit of an egomaniac. And like I've already said, everybody's more of an egomaniac than they say they are. They just won't admit it. I guess what else was I going to talk about? Yeah, Trump versus Clinton. So I guess we're gonna have to see where all the, and we're gonna have to see the polls too. Like, the polls are obviously skewed in the favor of Clinton. Like, it's blatantly obvious. You can basically tell that because if you look at a poll from one place to one place, there's big differences. Plus, if there was a poll that showed Trump winning, I don't think a mainstream news outlet would publish it. Which is, I guess, part of the reason why you don't really see too many. And I guess the other thing, too, is where, you have to see where all these people that weren't voting for Trump in the GOP convention go. I'd assume most Bernie or Sanders voters would go to the Clinton. The actual smart ones would go to Trump, but I think those are few and far between. And then there's the people that, I guess what I always say is that there's the people that they're not best of two evils type people, I guess. And honestly, I don't think Trump's an evil. And Clinton is beyond an evil, but regardless, if you're a right winger and you're not gonna vote Trump, then you're contributing. A lot of these people are like, well, if you don't support Trump and you don't support Clinton, well, who do you support? Well, I'll write in a candidate. Well, writing in a candidate's not going to do anything. Personally, if you don't support either one of them, don't vote. Okay, don't vote, because a low voter turnout shows in numbers that the people don't approve of the candidates. Don't go write someone in. It's just stupid. I mean, I can see where you're coming from, but you're not doing anything at all. Basically what you're saying is that I disagree of the candidates, but I'm not going to use my vote to show that. Basically is what you're doing. And to any right winger who doesn't like Obama, that's voting or not going to vote for Trump, Hillary Clinton has said several times, and I'll literally bet every dollar I have on it, that Clinton will be an as bad or worse version of Obama. And Obama, by all the numbers, unbiased, K2, a lot of people just say they're biased, but Obama, by all the numbers, is a top 5 worst president of all time. I actually just seen an article the other day. He's the only president in history to not have at least 1 year of 3% GDP growth. Like I said, remember the key word in there, only president. Okay, even George Bush did that. Another thing I'd like to say too about George Bush. All these liberals always talk about how bad George Bush was, and yeah, I'll admit it, I don't think he was very good. But the main thing they always bring up, and pretty well the only thing they always bring up, is the Iraq War. Hillary Clinton supported the Iraq War as much as George Bush did. Donald Trump was staunchly against it the whole time. So, if you ever want to use that argument against George Bush again, you're either going to have to shut up or not vote for Clinton. Okay? Again, I think most people will continue to use that to show how stupid and ignorant they are. But anyways, Trump, and the other thing too about Trump, I have some legitimate concerns about him, and not one of them are the ones that people are bringing up, which proves that people are just biased against him. Okay, people are just biased against him. Why? Because he's anti-establishment. Every president in at least a generation has been establishment. And a lot would argue that it's been even more than a generation. And the last thing they would want is someone who isn't establishment, which that is Trump. So, I mean, it's looking like it's going to be Trump versus Clinton, and honestly, if you're a right winger and you're not voting Trump, you're voting Clinton. I guess just to end this off. If you don't want to vote for either one of those two, don't vote, because a higher voter unturnout, or whatever you want to call it, shows the politicians that people don't approve of them. And the people like Hillary Clinton, they're gonna keep doing their same usual BS, but people like Trump will change. And the other thing too I'd like to mention about Trump too is a lot of the stuff that he's been wrong on, he has gone back and said, well, I was wrong on that, I'm going to change my mind. And then, which is good, but then the same people that accuse or think that he was bad, a lot of them, I guess not the same people, but they've said, well, he's changing his mind now, he's, flip-flopping. Well, if you flip-flop to the right side and you're doing it clearly not just to be political, then that's a good thing. Again, it just proves the bias against Trump is every little thing that even isn't negative. People take that and turn it into a negative against him, which is why so many people are supporting him. It is good to see so many people seeing through the BS and stuff, but there's gonna be a Trump versus Clinton presidency, which is what it was looking like for a while. I know there's been some scares, but barring anything major, it's going to be Trump versus Clinton. And I think one thing we're going to see is we're going to see how powerful the mainstream media and government establishments are. If Clinton wins, I think they're gonna prove that they still are powerful. If Trump wins, I think that's gonna prove that they're dying, which they are dying, but we're gonna see how much. But anyways, that's just a video for today, I guess.